And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College athletics. Glad you're able to join us on this Monday night, and very excited for tonight's show as we get to know better and get to hear from three student athletes who are in leadership roles at Brevard College. And before we get going with tonight's guest, do want to remind you that this is an interactive format. We're on Facebook Live. And if you have a comment or a question for our guest, feel free to leave it in the chat box, and we'll be sure to do our best to get to it throughout the program. Well, without further ado, I want to introduce tonight's guest. First, in the bottom left corner is Hannah Scarf. She's a rising junior on the women's lacrosse team out of Southport, North Carolina. On campus, she is a resident advisor, a peer leader, also a learning consultant in ELC. She's a teaching assistant. She majors in health science and biology, and this past season she was a USA South All-Academic Performer. Hannah, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Glad you're able to join us. Also on the bottom of your screen, on the right corner, is rising junior from the baseball team. It's outfielder Jack Atkinson out of Piedmont, South Carolina. He's an orientation leader, also an intramural coordinator in terms of leadership roles on campus, and he's majoring in criminal justice. Jack, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Phil. Glad to be here.
And in the top left corner, Jose Sanchez, affectionately known around the Brevard College campus as Fish. Fish is a rising senior men's soccer player, plays in the midfield out of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. He's been interning all summer with the Brevard College Department of Athletics. We're going to learn more about that internship he's been doing. He's also a learning consultant here on campus, a major in business and organizational leadership, and Jose was a USA South All-Academic Performer with distinction, which required a GPA of 3.90 or higher this past season. So congratulations on that, Jose. Jose, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me, Phil.
Well, it's great to have you guys on the show. And, you know, one of the reasons we wanted to talk to you three in particular is that I know you all in leadership roles on campus as student athletes have been working really hard to prepare for the start of the fall 2020 semester. Obviously, unusual times with COVID-19 and all, but I know you guys have been working hard behind the scenes, getting the campus ready, and really preparing for the incoming students who started to arrive today in earnest, and then they'll be arriving throughout the week, staggered throughout the week, and then a week from today, Monday the 17th, the first day of classes. And Hannah, we'll start with you. You know, what's it been like these last few days as you guys have been preparing? And I know, you guys have been doing a lot of training and that kind of thing, getting ready for the new students. Can you kind of give us a peek into what that's been like for y'all?
Well, I mean, obviously it's been a lot different than previous years. It's been good, honestly. The training, it was refreshing. It's always good to brush up on the things you learned previously, but it's a lot of new rules for us. It's a big adjustment for everyone to come back and be on campus that's so different than it's previously been. But, one thing I really appreciate about Brevard is the fact that they're trying to make it as normal as they can, given the circumstances. And I think we're really ready to bring the freshmen into a new healthy environment while keeping everybody safe and still having fun. But the training, it was long. It got a little lonely because, there's only so many of us on campus, and we go, and then we go back to our rooms and we're a little tired. But, I'm really excited to have the freshmen here today and tomorrow, and then get all the returners here and really get back into the groove of things with classes and hopefully get to stay here for the semester. That would be nice.
Outstanding. Thanks for shedding some light on that, Hannah. And before we get much further with this topic, I do want to define some of these leadership positions. And Hannah, we'll stick with you. RA, resident advisor. What are your responsibilities as a resident advisor?
So it's really just to help for me, I'm a freshman RA, so it's really to help a smooth transition for the freshmen coming into school and getting acclimated to the environment of, being away from home for the first time. And we help with a lot of monitoring throughout the buildings. So, making sure quiet hours are being followed, and then helping with maintenance issues, putting in maintenance requests, and then helping with small, maybe roommate disputes and just kind of diffusing issues there. So it takes a lot of communication, and it really helps build you as a leader because you have this whole hall depending on you, and then, you do duty at nights, and then those are your nights where the kind of building leans on you a little bit. But really, it's just to kind of help things go smoothly throughout the school year, make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, especially this year with the masks. That's a big thing that we're really enforcing. But it's just to create a fun environment while keeping it safe.
No doubt about it. Appreciate you helping us define some of these leadership positions. And Jack, you're an orientation leader. Can you tell us what those responsibilities are?
Yes, sir. So over the summer, I actually became an orientation leader, and basically we plan a lot of events on campus. And so this Creek Week that the freshmen are about to experience, we've come up with a lot of the ideas and like how to set it up, and got in contact with a bunch of people that help like set up and start all these things. It's going to be a lot different this year though because of Corona, and so we're doing a lot more virtual things. So we're really big on like trying to keep everyone safe. So we're going to be using virtual, which will help a lot. So we're basically doing all events online unless they can be outdoors. So.
And sticking with you, Jack, on one other item, kind of as far as these preparation goes, with the COVID-19, additional housing for student has been opened up at the Brevard Music Center.
Yes, sir.
And I understand you're actually living there yourself. Can you kind of explain how that all works, that partnership with Brevard Music Center, and how some students are going to be living over there?
So it kind of worked out to where, so some of the athletes, most of the athletes actually are doing cohort housing. And so me and my roommate both played different sports, but since we're both orientation leaders, we're already going to be around each other like a ton. And so we have a really nice, it's basically like a church camp cabin. And so it's brand new. There's a little lake/pond down below, and the rooms are pretty nice, honestly. And it's good to like be off campus, but at the same time, like be able to come because it's only like 5 or 6 minutes away from campus. So.
Very good. Jose Fish Sanchez, you are a peer leader.
No, I'm a intern and also a ELC learning consultant.
Thank you for that clarification. Yes, a learning consultant. Can you explain to us what learning consultant is?
So the main goal for me is helping the students in the community to develop their skills in my expertise, like in my subjects in expertise, or the subjects I'm giving help to. So most of the students I work with are students that have are having trouble in the classroom with classes, as well as I clarify them if they have any issues with an assignment or a project.
Very good. And you mentioned your summer internship. I know you've been helping out the Department of Athletics all summer long. Can you tell us a little more about that and some of your duties this summer for that internship?
Yep. So first, I like to thank the department itself for giving me the opportunity of entering in Brevard College Athletic Department. But my first duties, or my duties I do around the athletic department, is helping each one of the departments inside the department, which are compliance, business operations, digital media, as well as our AD, Miranda Nash. So I think I've been their right hand whenever they needed help to work on new projects, as well as getting the knowledge of how the athletic department works inside a school, a D3 school like Brevard College.
You definitely have been that right hand all summer long. I can attest to that, Jose. Great work. And do still want to define peer leader. And Hannah, that you are a peer leader, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what that is?
So most people know, freshmen go through this course called FYE, and it's really just a first year experience class is what it stands for, and it gets all the freshmen together and kind of lets them make friends while kind of just introducing themselves to everybody. And then, we do a couple fun activities throughout the semester. Of course, that might look a little different this year, but really my job is to go into the classroom and just kind of be a peer with the students, but help guide them and lead them and, talk with them about what they want to do, what majors might be suited for them if they don't already know, and just kind of hang out, make friends, make them feel at home. Sort of like the RA job, but just a little bit more.
Okay, so we've defined learning consultant, peer leader, resident advisor, a couple other jobs you guys have on the side, not to mention being student athletes. Jack, intramural coordinator.
Yes, sir.
Can you kind of tell us what you've done in the past in that department?
Yes, sir. So in the past, we've been able to set up basketball leagues, kickball leagues, volleyball tournaments. And so this year's going to be a little different though, just because all the contact, we're not going to be really able to do it. We have plans of possibly doing a disc golf tournament and possibly a cornhole tournament. But right now, our big focus is going to be esports. So we're trying to promote that as big as possible and hopefully get as many participants as possible.
Those sound like some excellent pivots in terms of all three of those sports. Obviously, esports you can social distance quite a bit, but certainly disc golf and cornhole as well. And the 18-hole newly designed disc golf at Brevard College is just outstanding. I've met a couple of kind of disc golf experts who have been making their way to Brevard College. They think the course is so good. So I think you got a lot of potential there, Jack, as well.
Yes,
great to hear. Well, appreciate you guys kind of explaining those responsibilities. We did want to let folks know what those roles are. And in case some of those new students are, tuning in and wondering, hey, what is this peer leader I keep on hearing about? At least they might know what direction to go in now. Well, as far as those new students go, they started arriving today. They'll continue arriving this week. I'd love to hear from each of you with the following question. And Fish, we'll start with you on this one. What's the best piece of advice you could tell a new student at Brevard College?
Well, being a senior, I think the best advice I can give for a freshman student is to put themselves out there. I think that Brevard as a campus, and also if they're in an athletic team, everything it's like a family. Everything we do is as a family. Also, example is how the professors are so close with the students. And I guess the best advice it is to go out there and be in this new experience in their life that I guess will develop their future.
Very good. Jack, same question. Advice for a new incoming student?
Yes, sir. My first advice would be go to class. If you go to class and your professors will work with you, the professors here are awesome. My second would be right along with Fish. Put yourself out there. Go make friends. It makes college a lot easier if you have somebody to do it with, for sure.
Great stuff. Hannah, advice for the new students?
I would say take advantage of the area that we're in. There's always something to be doing. You can go on hikes, you can go swimming. There's always new things to be seeing, and never be afraid to ask for help because there are tons of people on this campus that are willing and wanting to help the students and, everybody around them. And especially with what Jack said, go to class, because when you fall behind, it's really hard to catch back up and keep your grades where you need them to be.
Great. Jack, you mentioned Creek Week earlier.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to hear from each of you a little more about Creek Week. If you can kind of, if you know what's planned perhaps, for this year, but also if you can reflect back, perhaps you participated in Creek Week when you first got here and, hindsight being 2020, how valuable of an experience that can be. And Jack, why don't you get us started on this one? Tell us more about Creek Week.
Yes, sir. So Creek Week is a thing where first year students come and kind of get accepted in and like experience different activities around school, around like the community. And so, like for instance, when I was a freshman incoming, we got put in our FYE classes group, like Hannah was talking about earlier, and it kind of like forced you to be kind of friends with people, but at the same time, like it just kind of naturally happened. And then my group actually went up to Perry, which is up in the mountains, and it was really cool to like go experience that because I never knew like a huge place like that could be up there. So
cool. And Hannah, Creek Week, a great opportunity for these incoming students, correct?
Yes, sir. You know, it offers you a chance to meet people out of your usual group. So if you're on a sports team, obviously you're going to be around your team a lot and you're going to make fast friends with them. But Creek Week really lets you stem out and meet new people that enjoy the same things you do. And I remember my freshman year, I signed up for rock climbing, which was a little out of my comfort zone because I'm not a big fan of heights. So I was like, okay, I'll go try it. And, you know, I went there with people I've never met before, like 2 busloads of people I hadn't met, and ended up having so much fun. I climbed the wall like 3 times. And, you know, I appreciate the experience we got our freshman year. And I know it's going to be a lot different for the freshmen this year, but I think they'll enjoy it just as much as we did.
Outstanding. Fish, anything to add on Creek Week?
I think it's a good way to get to know new people, how Hannah and Jack said, and also meeting upperclassmen, because also there's a thing that, oh, freshmen are friends with freshmen. And I think here it's not like that, because the peer leaders and also orientation leaders help those freshmen to build connections and friendship with upperclassmen. That after those friendships develop, those upper classes will help them with classes as well as with all around activities around campus and around Brevard.
Very good. Now, all 3 of you have different majors and are studying different subjects entirely, really, if you think about it. In case any of those new students, you know, maybe starting to think a little bit about where they want to head academically and in terms of major, I would like to give each of you the chance to kind of tell folks about your major a little bit. And, you know, perhaps there's a favorite class you've taken so far that you'd like to, you know, give a shout out to, or that kind of thing. So once again, Jack, we'll start with you. Criminal justice major. What's it like to be a criminal justice major here at Brevard College?
it's fun. I actually came into college not knowing really what to do. And then shout out to Dr. Powers. I took his criminal justice, like the first class, I think it was 101, something like that, and absolutely loved it. He really like welcomed me and like basically guided me through it all. And right now I'm starting to take some of my final classes in it. And right now I possibly want to go into the federal side of criminal justice, but I'm still kind of deciding through that.
Very good. Appreciate that, Jack. And Hannah, health science and biology. You know, certainly a lot of possibilities in terms of career, what you can do with those majors. Can you tell us even more, you know, as far as your path goes?
So I came into college knowing what I wanted to do, which I don't think is a common case. But so I knew what I needed to major in, like immediately, and I want to go to vet school. So health science and biology was the way to go with that. And I think my favorite class was probably medical terminology with Dr. White, because it was probably one of the hardest courses I've taken, and it required a lot of studying and memorization, which is something I have, the memorizing part, struggled a little bit with in the past. And, you know, it just kind of pushed me, made me a better student, and I really enjoyed it. But the sciences, I love the sciences because it's a lot of hands-on work, and you get a lot of one-on-one time with your professors, and you get more time with your professors than you would in non-science classes because you have the class and the lab with your professor.
Very good. Thanks for that, Hannah. And Jose Fish Sanchez, a business and organizational leadership major. Can you tell us what it's like to be a business and organizational leadership major at Brevard College and a little more about your path?
Well, personally, me knowing Brevard, coming from Dominican Republic, the first thing that I fell in love with was of the business major here was the experiential learning that Brevard gives to the students. Like, I think one class that impacted me was one of my freshman classes that is, I think it's Org 110, that it's like business in global context, where our professor make us go in teams and do a Shark Tank presentation. And like you like the TV show Shark Tank. So we had to present to a board or investors and present them our product and see if it's really a good idea, as well as if it's profitable to create that product or company we created it.
Very good. Appreciate all those details on your majors. Now,
Yeah.
back to the playing field for you guys. You know, this is tornado talk, of course, so we got to get some sports talk in here. Jack, we'll start with you. You know, would like listeners and viewers to know a little more kind of about your journey as a baseball player. Can you tell us sort of when it all began for you and how you eventually became a Brevard College Tornado?
Yes, sir. So I started playing baseball probably since I could walk, probably around 3 years old. And so I played just little league and rec league all the way up. And then I made a big move to South Carolina, where I actually went to high school when I was in second grade. And so played rec ball and travel ball all the way up to high school, and then went to Wren High School, where we actually had a really successful baseball program. And then found Brevard actually through some friends, some family friends, and fell in love with the campus. Like, I just love the size of the campus. And now that I'm on the team, it's just like a huge family. Like, that's what it feels like. One of my teammates today, we met some of the freshmen. That's the first thing he told him. He was like, we're a family. And so with a winning mentality. So our season got cut short this past season, but we're ready to get back working for sure.
Great stuff. And there's one of your teammates right there, Christian Ezel,
Yes,
lockdown outfielder. Yeah, I can attest to that as well, Christian, having watched Jack in action out there patrolling the outfield. Hannah Scarf, member of the women's lacrosse team. Can you kind of tell us about your journey as a lacrosse player and ultimately becoming a Brevard College Tornado as well?
Well, I started my sophomore year of high school. My brother and my cousin had been playing, and I was like, yeah, that looks like fun. I'll give it a go. So I started playing, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. And so I, joined travel leagues and went to showcases, and I met Coach Rosado at a showcase. And, we chatted a little bit, and then I started getting mail, and I was like, okay, well, I'll go visit. So I went and visited, and I fell in love with the area. Like Jack said, it was just an amazing school, beautiful campus, and everybody seemed so friendly. And I came for my visit, and the team was just so nice, and everybody got along so well. And like Jack said, we're a family. I mean, I have so much fun with my team. They're hilarious. Like, probably some of the funniest girls I've ever met. And everybody works really hard. And I really enjoyed my experience with the Brevard women's lacrosse team, because there's just so much dedication and laughter. And we want to win, but we don't take it too hard when we lose, because we take it as a learning experience, something to improve upon and what to do better next time. So it's always a lot of fun with them. We get along so well.
No doubt about it. And Jose Fish Sanchez, a rising senior on the Brevard College men's soccer team, football down in Dominican Republic, but playing soccer up here in the mountains of North Carolina. Can you tell us a little bit about your soccer journey?
Well, I guess everything starts whenever you're pretty young. Whenever I was whenever I was 5, 6 year old, starting kicking the ball. Then since I was that young and I was also the little guy, that's where Fish started. The name was Fish. And then since I was becoming better and growing up, I passed through some academies back home, as well as lived for a few months in Spain to try to get to a professional stance. But personally, I decided to study as well as have the opportunity to play at the same time. And thanks to Coach Bob, that was our coach 3 years ago, I contacted him. He saw my video, and since then I just came here, and I've stayed because of the traditions we have as a team, as well as how the upperclassmen made me feel like home. Because being away, it's hard for some people, and it was hard for me my first few weeks. But then after, I just have great. I just have happy things to say, and I really have enjoyed my journey, and I'm looking forward to the next season, and also making the new players feel like home.
Coach Steve Huckey chiming in here. Jack, are you ready for the baseball season to start? Do you think you will be the man? No pressure, Jack. You want to answer that one from Coach
Sure.
Huckey?
Yeah, I'm ready for baseball season to get started. A lot of the guys ready. Been working all summer, ready to get started. We're actually probably gonna have a team meeting here soon to get all the freshmen up and ready to go. I mean, the ones I've talked to, they're ready. They're coming for some PT. And do I think I'll be the man? I mean, that's always the goal at the end of the day. So.
Very good. And that actually leads me to my next question. And Jose touched on this a little too. We talked about, pieces of advice for sort of a general Brevard College student who was arriving, but would like to hear from you as far as, your new teammates goes. And if you had time to spend, which I'm sure you will shortly here, if you haven't already, with one of your freshman new teammates on your respective teams, what are the sorts of things you would tell them as far as how to balance being a student athlete and how to ultimately succeed as a Tornado? Hannah, we'll start with you. What kind of advice would you give a incoming women's lacrosse freshman?
I would definitely say to try your hardest not to overbook yourself, because I am notorious for doing that. It's a very bad habit. Try to start out soft with your credit hours, and don't sign yourself up for too many things in lacrosse season, because things do get hectic. We practice a lot, we play a lot, and sometimes you just need a day or two to just kind of sit back, relax, and catch your breath. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you overbook yourself, you're going to get yourself in a hole it's hard to dig out of.
Same question for you, Fish. Now a senior freshman who are coming in and kind of looking to you for leadership and advice. What would you tell a freshman men's soccer player at Brevard?
Practice hard. I guess that's the first thing. Also, there's no place as one. You have to practice to get a place on the team and get place to play the game. On the side of academics, I think very good advice to give is focus on academics and then think about soccer in a way. And I don't know. It's been a crazy year, and I'm just ready to get started. Even we had some freshmen coming in, and today we just kick around on the field and make them feel like we're all here to work and make them be better and make the whole team be better.
And Jack, I'll give you the same chance to answer that question as far as a baseball student athlete who's, new to college and the college, environment and so forth. What kind of things would you tell him?
Yes, sir. So I'm going to go along with Hannah too, because baseball, we play a lot of games. So I would not overload yourself, especially during baseball season. But one thing our coaching staff does a really good job of is pushing school before baseball, because at this level, school is really important. And usually if a kid has a really good work ethic in the classroom, then it'll also transfer over to the field.
Now, returning students at Brevard College won't be able to miss some major construction projects that are coming to a close. The barn is now the new home for the Willie program. The Ives Lamel Family Field has been expanded with football coming back onto campus for its games, and certainly a new environment for men's and women's soccer and men's and women's lacrosse in terms of the big grandstands and, kind of a new feel there. And then the field house, which all three of your sports are going to be able to benefit from that. Love to hear from each of you how excited you are about these new facilities for the Tornadoes.
I'll start. So I came in Wednesday and drove onto campus and saw the brand new football stadium and where everyone else is going to be playing also. And it's awesome to have football on campus. And I'm sure all the other teams are looking forward to being able to play with stands that big and that nice. And then the new field house also looks really nice. We haven't gotten a chance to go into it yet, but we're really excited when we can.
Hannah?
So like Jack said, the stadium, it looks amazing. And my high school, we kind of played in a stadium, and it's a different environment to have, such big stands and see them fill up versus the smattering of crowds around the field. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a great new experience. And as for the field house, that is going to be nice. I bet there will be AC in there coming in after a hot practice. Please.
Fish, some impressive new facilities here on the Brevard College campus, correct?
Yeah. Yes, they are. Actually, I was present when they were putting up the stances, and I was pretty excited because it's really, I can see it how I came as a freshman, how I'm gonna come out as a senior with all these nice things. And also I'm looking forward to our new locker room in the field house, and also as well as sharing the field with football, which is a good incorporation to the campus, and will add a lot of good things as well as a lot of new fans having a stance and having football in campus.
One other big facility upgrade, Fish at this very moment is broadcasting from the new athletic suites on campus. The Boshemer Gymnasium's been transformed a bit for the new athletic suites, which makes everything very convenient. And that's where you've been doing your internship all summer, Fish. Can you tell folks a little bit more about this new venue within the Boshemer Gymnasium?
Well, me coming in my first day, I was surprised. I was not expecting it be so nice, and having even an office where years before it was a exercise room as well as a study hall room. Also, I've been here. I've seen how the office itself have developed, how we have been posting posters. We have added TVs, as well as incorporating NATO Nation and BC stickers and pamphlets. I don't know. It's pretty nice. I hope whenever students come back in a safe way, they can come in and see and say hi to all of the directors and assistants of the athletic department.
Yep, the Bo and Barbara Holsey Athletic Suite. It was unveiled in a ribbon cutting a week or so ago, and really makes everything very convenient, and it's going to make things more efficient in terms of the operations behind the scenes that Jose Sanchez has been a part of as a summer intern. Well, guys, we're heading towards the finish line on this program, but do want to talk about just something that's really important, and that is, these 3 W's, and that everybody gets on board in terms of trying to keep the campus safe. The 3 W's: wear a cloth mask over your nose and mouth, wait 6 feet apart, avoid close contact, and then wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Also use hand sanitizer if available. Guys, I know this has been in the forefront of everything y'all have been doing, preparing for the start of the semester. Would like to hear from each of you, and you guys have been touching on it a bit throughout the broadcast, but, just how important this is, and perhaps for students who are, maybe looking for a little guidance in this area. Jack, you want to get us started?
Yes, sir. So, honestly, the campus has a really good policy, and I feel like most of us want to stay on campus. We want to see each other, be around our friends, and not go online. So I feel like the 3 W's is a good way to try to control the spread and possibly not even get it at all. So most of us want to stay on campus. So I say we all do it.
Well said. Hannah, anything to add to that?
Yeah, you never know who you're coming in contact with when you don't do these things. You don't properly wash your hands and try to keep clean. So you don't know what you could be taking in or what you could be giving to people around you. And, we're right next to an elderly community. So, like, it may not be everybody's favorite activities. It might be something kind of an annoyance at sometimes. But, for the well-being of the people around you, sometimes you've kind of just got to, I guess, put up with some little annoyances just to keep those around you safe and keep yourself safe. Because like Jack said, being online really takes away from our experiential education focus, which is something the faculty and staff are working so hard to keep at the school, which is why they want us here so bad. So, you just kind of got to follow the protocols as best you can, follow your 3 W's, and hopefully that will keep us on campus.
Really appreciate that answer, Hannah. And Jose, I know you've been kind of seeing it all come to fruition, having been here most of the summer, us preparing, for the start of the semester. This is critical, correct, as far as the 3 W's goes?
Yes, I think it's key for us to have a season as well as to have a semester, as well as to look forward on the next semester. Because I know and I'm hopefully right that next semester is going to be the same. It's not going to be something that will vanish right whenever a vaccine or a cure comes. And yeah, being the whole summer, I've seen how things have developed and how people also around the community have started wearing masks, washing their hands, as well as being 6 feet apart of each other.
Very good. I really appreciate you all's words and leadership in this area. And before we sign off, the 3 of you have really done a wonderful job as far as taking these leadership positions on campus, and I want to thank you again for your service there. I want to give you each the chance for a kind of a final message to NATO Nation, and also anybody you may want to give a shout out to or a thank you, who perhaps someone who's helped you along the way, or friend or family who might be tuning into this program. Jack Atkinson, we'll start with you. You're a rising junior outfielder out of Piedmont, South Carolina, orientation leader, also an intramural coordinator, and majoring in criminal justice. Jack, the floor is yours.
So as going out here, I just want to say thank you, Phil, for having me on here tonight. To the incoming freshmen and first years, just have fun, follow the protocols, and just have fun. It's college, so then I want to give a shout out to my mom and my sister. Saw them both in here, so I love you guys. Thank you for helping me through the way.
Very good. Thank you for those words, Jack, and have a great semester and season. Can't wait to see you back there at Gil Cohen Field. Hannah Scarf, rising junior on the women's lacrosse team out of Southport, North Carolina. You're a resident advisor, a peer leader, a learning consultant in ELC. You've done some TA work, and that may continue, majoring in health science and biology, and USA South All-Academic Performer this past season. Hannah, the floor is yours.
Like Jack said, thanks, Phil, for having us tonight and letting us spread the word and some information. And I want to thank the faculty and staff for making it possible for us to come back to campus. I don't think that's something they hear enough. So thank you guys for all your hard work. We really appreciate it. And, I look forward to a good year and hopefully a good season.
Well said. Thank you, Hannah. And Jose Fish Sanchez. Hey, one of my objectives in this show tonight was to learn the background on how you got the nickname Fish, and you answered it for us. So thank you for that. Rising senior midfielder on the men's soccer team out of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. He's been working all summer as an intern for the Brevard College Department of Athletics. He's also a learning consultant, majoring in business and organizational leadership. He's a USA South All-Academic Performer with distinction, which requires a elite level GPA. Jose Fish Sanchez, final words to NATO Nation.
Well, I'd like to thank you for having me, Phil. Also, I'd like to say hi to my dad and my aunt and uncle that are watching, as well as my cousins. And something I look forward for this next semester season, and I hope to see all the Brevard College Tornadoes fans here.
Well, Jose Fish Sanchez, Hannah Scarf, Jack Atkinson, thank you very much for joining the show tonight, and thanks again for your leadership. There's been a lot of work going on behind the scenes by a number of student leaders, you three included, and really the campus couldn't get going this fall semester without people like you. So thank you very much for that, and thank you, the audience, for tuning in to Tornado Talk. We'll be back here next Monday night at 7 p.m. and this show will be available via YouTube and SoundCloud on the replay, but you can also watch the replay here on Facebook Live. Really appreciate everyone tuning in, and can't wait to see you again on Tornado Talk, and hopefully at some Brevard College Tornadoes athletic events coming up soon. Thanks again for tuning in. Go Tornadoes.